I am Dr. Amarjeet Kaur. I am Professor of Accounting and a Certified Management Accountant. I am working with Gurugram University in the Department of Management as Professor and Dean. I am very happy to be present this afternoon here and to start a new series of discussion, a topic. So, this particular series would be on business communication, which is a very sought after subject, topic, area in the field of management, commerce and allied areas. It's a very important series which we are going to begin today, friends. I'm sure you are going to enjoy it, learn a lot, and this particular series of lectures will really help you for your employability, in your entrepreneurship skills, in your personal life, everywhere. So I would request you to be with us today and in future lectures in this particular series. So today we are going to start with a very basic topic of communication, introduction to communication. Friends, before I talk about the premise of the communication, please be clear on the fact that I am not going to teach or discuss language, any language. So I am not teaching English language here. I am not a teacher of English language. I am a manager, I am a CMA, certified management accountant, but I come from the fraternity of management and commerce. So the agenda would be to discuss the communication, different modes, means of communication in business, which is required for business, which is required in business. Be you an entrepreneur, be you an employee. So this would be the premise. So that is the beginning statement I want to make before we start the topic. Okay, so what is the premise? Why did I feel like covering this particular topic, this particular area? So first of all, friends, it's very important to understand that every passing day the organizations are turning complex. The management, the organizational structure, the format, the size, the geographical locations of the businesses are changing from every day, from moment to next moment. Right? Earlier there were days only the office tend to be in one city, in one location. Now the companies have offices in one country, maybe more than 200, 300, 400, and the companies have equal number of offices across the globe in many more countries. So there are businesses, there are companies having their offices in 1,000 numbers. Yes, you heard me right, in 1,000 numbers. I don't want to name the company, you can Google it and find it. And not only that, now the reporting style is changing because the management style is changing. We talk about lean organizations to the most difficult, most centralized organization. Every type of business organization is actually becoming complex by every single passing day. There are many verticals coming up. There are many branches coming up. There are many departments coming up. A few years ago, we simply have heard about establishment branch or human resource branch. We never thought of having learning and development branch or department in any business. Now it is most common. Now we find most of the multinational companies, they have learning and development department in their organization. So the point I am making is that the organizations are turning complex by every passing day, which demands that the person who is working in the organization, you as a student, you as a prospective employee of a business organization, you need to be very good in the communication so that you could receive exactly what is been communicated by your seniors, by your peers, and could communicate what exactly you wishes to share, be it an idea, be it a report, be it a notice, be it a memorandum, whatever it may be, right? These are the means of communication in any organization. So that's why we thought of beginning with this new series of business organization. The second premise of this particular subject, this particular branch of management is that the communication is the crux ultimately. You could be a very good in implementing anything, but unless you are able to communicate your results well, you are not going to seek the attention or get the benefit of that work unless you communicate it well, right? Another reason is that soft skills, creativity, emotional intelligence, these are the three very, very important skills. I am using the word skills, right, which are very important, have been very important, and the reports are suggesting they will remain important even after the COVID-19 scenario. The post-COVID-19 world will have these skills, soft skills, creativity, emotional intelligence, remaining as important as they were before. Rather, they are becoming more important. And we know communication is part of soft skills, right? So that's another premise, another basis for making me think to bring out this new series of the topic. I would refer to one important development. In 2016, chairman of the World Economic Forum, he coined a new term, fourth industrial revolution. This was the term which was coined for the first time in 2016, right? So, as per this, revolution, this fourth industrial revolution, this is based on the digital literacy, right? So, we have artificial intelligence, machine learning, we have e-commerce, all those, digital literacy, numeracy, creative problem solving. They are the part of this new era of fourth industrial revolution, right? And this communication and along with the emotional intelligence is also the part of new skills required under the industrial revolution number 4. Okay. If I refer to the data shared by Burning Glass, this is a company which telecasts on jobs, because the business students, be it management or commerce students, they look for jobs, they look for new companies, new startups as well, right? So they published the data saying, this report says that from April 1st to August 25th, this span of few months, right, that if they have published 20 jobs, if they have published whatever the number of jobs they have published, if there were 20 skills required in total, out of those 20 skills, 15 were on soft skills. This is a very, very interesting number or the fact I am sharing. So I am quoting the source. The source is Burning Glass data, right? This company which is it's like Naukri.com in India, right? So they have published this data that out of the 20 skills required or demanded by employers, 15 were on soft skills. What does it mean? It establishes the importance of teaching you soft skills, including business communication or communication per se, right? So that's why I want to bring this fact to you. Another premise, another point I want to make is this, that a report by Deloitte, so Deloitte Access Economics, their findings says that the findings of the report says that 2/3 of all jobs by 2030. So I am referring to the time span of next almost 9 years. 2/3 of the all jobs by 2030 will be made up of the soft skill intensive occupation. This is a very powerful statement coming from not by any other company but by the Deloitte, right? So they says this 2/3 of the jobs will be made up of the soft skills. So friends, now I shall be talking about what is communication. Alright, so let's have a look at this on this slide. It says The word communication has come from the Latin word communicare, right? The meaning is to share. Okay, so as I said, the communication is the crux of everything. You may have any skill, you may have good digital skill, you may be a very good software developer, you could be a very good manager when it comes to planning, you could be a very important and a very important person in the business, but unless you are able to communicate your efforts, your action, your plan, your goals to the rest of the people in the business, in the department, in the office, you cannot actually succeed in whatever you plan for. Okay, so friends, this word communication has actually adopted itself from the Latin word communicare. Okay, so what is communication? Communication is basically sharing of information between two or more individual or within the group. Why? Because we want to reach to a common understanding. Okay, so communication is the sharing of information between either, so for example, I want to share that today the lecture will begin at 2:30 and the topic would be business communication, right? So I just want to share a fact because this is a very particular information regarding the new series of lectures we are beginning today, that is business communication, and the telecast is at 2:30 p.m. the afternoon, right? So this is just a sharing of information by CEC to the audience. So CEC wants to share with the audience that they are beginning a new series of the topic or the lectures. Okay, so this is sharing of information between two people or two entities. So CEC is here one entity, that is one entity which is actually telecasting educational material to the people who are interested. We are trying to reach out to the masses through CEC platform. So it could be between one person communicating and more individuals or more companies. There could be a circular which is coming up from any government department regarding, let's say, pollution, change in pollution norms. So this is the ministry of a particular, Ministry of Transportation is issuing a notice regarding change rules of pollution, and it is meant for all people who are citizens of the India or whosoever is any non-resident Indian currently present in India, or any foreign nationals whosoever is driving any vehicle on the roads of the Indian territory, right? So that is a public notice coming for everybody or anybody who drives on Indian roads. So here the communication is between one department, one ministry to the masses, right? There could be one communication from the purchase department of a company to the finance department demanding for X amount. So here two entities are departments. So the first example I took, that I announced something to my friend, to my family member. So I said, today I will be coming late. Today I will reach home by 6:30, for example. So I just picked up my phone, I communicated to any of my family members. So this was communication between two people. The another example was CEC communicating the beginning of new series of lectures, business communication, from today onwards, 17th August onwards, to the rest of the audience, right? So one side it was one entity, and and then the recipients were in masses. The third example I took, one department, government department, communicating to the whole public of the country. Okay, so this could be one person making a public speech, any politician making a public address. So all these, so basically we are sharing some information, some idea, some thought, some ideology, some information. So it's a sharing of any information, idea, thought, emotion between two people or more than two people. Okay. Now we share this information either by speech. For example, I am speaking on business communication. So this is by speech, right? So there's a telecast by CEC and you're watching and you're listening, and this is by speech. There could be a message, right? We get to read a message on different channels about their daily plan of telecast. At 10:30 this particular program or show will be telecasted. At 11:30 this will be the telecast. So even that is by through message. We get a message on our phone as well. We get a message on through letters as well. We share through signs as well. For example, the traffic police may put no parking sign at different locations, at different areas wherever the parking is not allowed. So there's no speech, right? Nothing written, even only a sign is there. So no parking sign, we all understand. No U-turn or U-turn sign. It has been there are different signs being used by traffic police. This is something you can correlate very well. All right. Then we have signals. So signals, for example, a red light where only a traffic policeman is standing. So we know when he is using his hand, left, right, straight, what indication it means, right? If somebody gives you a thumbs up, means that in India at least, we use thumbs up saying an appreciation, showing an appreciation for a particular task, So sometime, if we are driving, our windows locked or our door locked of our car, and somebody gives you way or somebody stops so that some pedestrians could pass, across the road. The person who is crossing the road just say thanks without saying the word thanks. They just show you thumbs up. So the signals are also the means of communication. And the behavior, we simply hug somebody without uttering a single word, without writing a message, without showing any sign or signal. So our behavior shows to the person that we are happy, angry, we are appreciating, we are not acknowledging, we are acknowledging, we are annoyed, we are So sharing of information is happening and does happen through many ways, either speech, message, signs, signals and behavior, and believe me or not, that all is communication. Okay, so the communication is basically sharing of information through any means and amongst two or more than two people. I hope it is clear to you. So if you look at this slide, it shows you that even smelling is communication. If we smell something, we are actually communicating, right? Tasting, even touching, everything is communication. It's not only listening or speaking. It's not only writing. So smelling is also communication. Tasting something is also communication. So these are the different ways of communicating. So friends, next thing comes in that how do we define communication? So this gentleman for the Ringam, I have acknowledged the source. So he defined communication as communication is a process. So he defined communication as process. So process involving the selection, production and transmission. There are three things. We select something, some idea, some thought, some emotion. We produce it either on a piece of paper, on our tongue, or a message, or through a sign or a signal, right? And then we finally transmit it through some means, through some medium. So transmission of signs in such a way and to help a receiver perceive a meaning very much similar to that what is in the mind of communicator. So purpose is that communication means whatever is there in the mind of one person, it goes through to the person he or she wants to communicate, right? So communication is nothing but a process so that whatever idea, thought, emotion you have in your mind, it gets transmitted to the recipient. That's what the communication is. Alright. So for that purpose, as I said, it's a process. Even Fothergim has defined it as a process. So here on this slide, you have the process in front of you. So if you look at the slide, there is a message in the center, right? So we have a message. So message is to be sent by whom? Of course, by a sender. So if I want to communicate that today the lecture will begin at 2:30, so that is, so message is the lecture on business communication will begin at 2:30. This is the message. Okay. So I become a sender because I want to communicate to my students, to my friends, whomsoever I want to share. So first of all, the message is the class on business communication or the lecture on business communication will begin at 2:30. So I will encode it. I will give it some language, some signs, so whichever way I want to encode, right? So I am sender. I would have some message. I will encode it, right? And then I will send it to the recipient. So I may send it through a mail. I may send it through a message on my phone. I may send it as a message on my WhatsApp group or chat. I may send it as just as a sign or a mix of everything, a sign, a signal. I may use any medium, right? But message could be through the language, Hindi language, English language, Marathi, Punjabi, whatever I want to use, right? I may use sign, signal or any language. I may use any medium to communicate it. And finally, after I decide it, so the receiver receives it. So there's a sender, there's a message and there's a receiver. So message is in the mind of sender and it is to be sent to the receiver. Okay. So when the message actually is being sent by the sender, it is known as encoding. And when the receiver receives the message or the information, it is known as decoding. Okay. So either the message has been received in the same way it was meant for, because if you notice it, the definition or otherwise the discussion so far, it clearly says that the receiver should receive the same information what is there in the mind of sender. Only then we will say that the communication is effective, right? So this receiver is going to decode the message whatever way, either reading, either listening, either looking at the sign or the signal, or so this receiver actually decodes. If you have ever visited any exhibition of paintings where we do not have any word, no sign, but there's a picture, different drawings are there. So for times I have seen, I love to visit exhibitions. For times, even I am not been able to comprehend the idea of the painter. It has happened many a times. It's not easy to comprehend what does the painter want to depict on that painting. It must have happened to you as well. Just think about it, right? So if I as a visitor to the exhibition could not or failed to recognize the message of the painter from a painting, means I could not decode, right? That painting is also a means of communication. It's a medium of communication, mind you, right? Any painting is also a medium of communication, and if I could not comprehend what the painter wants to communicate through that particular painting, it means there is a problem in decoding. That problem in decoding could be either because of some noise, right? Noise means environment is not correct, my sight is not correct, I can't see, I'm a color blind person or it could be any limitation, or the person was trying to explain, I couldn't hear, or if there was nobody to explain, I couldn't see it well, or simply I don't have that much that good skill to comprehend colors or the message of a painting. It could be anything, right? This all would be taken as noise. If somebody was explaining and there was so much of disturbance from the background and I could not hear it, understand it, then again it's a noise. So the noise plays an important role in decoding a message. Okay, and then we have feedback. So if I was a person who was looking at the painting and could actually discuss with the painter that this is what I gather, so it means I am giving the feedback on the spot to the painter that I could get your idea, and if the painter notes to that, then it means his message has been communicated to me very well, the way he wanted to communicate through that painting, right? And this happens many a times in letters, in notices, in WhatsApp messages, in normal phone call messages and everything, right? So friends, it's very important that we all understand that noise level should be minimum in any in communication, and the feedback really plays a very important role in the effective communication process. I hope you could get very well that what is communication, what is the process of communication, how does noise and feedback play a very important role in converting or in decoding the message. This is all for this session. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you, friends.